Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 20th Inside Scoop newsletter today. We're going to be talking about the talking stick. But my Inside Scoop newsletter is at my Relationship Vision website, which I hope is your go-to relationship training resource. So if you're in touch with your need for connection and you want to learn how to create that miracle of connection for yourself so you could experience it, you're in the right place. All the work that I do is about empowering the transformation of relationships by developing the relationship with yourself. So today we're going to be talking, I want to tell you about the talking stick. The talking stick. Here it is. Here's a talking stick. I finally got one for my birthday. But I am so happy. This is such a powerful thing for me, being a therapist and being such a communicator and wanting to connect so much. So the talking stick, this is a talking stick that it's a sacred tool that I think was sourced or originated from the indigenous people, the Native Americans, where they use a talking stick as a way of being together and securing a really safe, warm place for people to be together and to connect in a deep way. But it's done, this talking stick has meaning. It has meaning. It speaks. And what it says is this sacred tool says that when you are holding it in a group of people, when you're interacting with other people, when you're holding this, you are the only one talking and everyone else is listening. And so it really structures the communication process. So there's only one person talking at a time and everyone else is listening. It should also be called the listening stick because it's really for people to have a safe space to talk out what they have to say and to have a captive audience listening to them. So there's so many uses for this talking stick. And well, I'm gonna tell you about some of them quickly. First of all, for me, I want to be able to use the talking stick with my family. So we have 4 people, me, my wife, and my kids, and I want to be able to have meetings together, group where we come together as a group, and we use the talking stick because I have found that as great a communicators as we are and how involved we are with each other and how animated our conversations are in my family, we can't really even have a conversation. We don't really have the ability to have long, deep, productive conversations because we're not listening to each other. We're talking past each other, and the conversations don't lead often to understanding and greater closeness. They lead to disconnection or not understanding, or they're frustrating. So I want to be able to use this in our family so we can get used to not talking when other people are talking or thinking of what to say when other people are talking, but just to listen to the person that's talking. And the person that's talking has the space to say whatever they have to say and express whatever their experience is, while the other people who are there are listening. And that listening and talking is a very, very deep connection. So that's it with my family, to help us have conversations that we can have. Okay, then for myself, I have found, well, another thing, you don't really need to have the physical talking stick in order to use it. You could refer to it. So, for example, I have found recently that I needed the talking stick, and I used the talking stick, and it really worked. And what happened for me was that I'm writing this book, The Miracle of Connection, the Birth and Life of an Intimate Relationship. But I'm so involved and deep into the book that sometimes when I'm writing, I get overwhelmed and I get lost, and I get lost in the weeds, and it's very, very frustrating because I'm just so overwhelmed and lost and frustrated because I don't know where to go or what to do, and I'm really stuck. So on 2 occasions, I was sitting with my wife and having coffee, as we usually do in the morning, and we didn't have the talking stick at that time. I just got it for my birthday, which was a couple of months ago. But when we were talking, I just started talking about my struggles and where I was at in my writing of the book. And I started explaining where I was lost and what I was trying to write about. And in the process of talking to her, this is 2 times when I felt this way. In the process of talking to her, I found that I was able to organize myself, and I got organized, and I found my way back to what I was doing, and I got clear, and I got a path. And so I organized myself, and it was so satisfying because I knew I needed to have the space to talk out what I was going through and to clarify and to organize. And my wife was so good at just listening and letting me talk. It was really powerful. Then another way I use the talking stick is as a therapist, as a relationship therapist and family therapist. And I consider myself to be a facilitator of conversations when I'm working with couples. What I discovered also is that a lot of the couples that I work with are like my family. We can't have conversation. They can't have conversation. They don't listen to each other. So I'm using the talking stick in my working with relationships and couples, so that they can have, it's a warm up. It's a ramping them up to having a conversation, but they're not ready to have the conversation because they're not connected and clear and grounded in themselves. And I also found that a lot of people, when they're talking, just in general, they're not talking for understanding necessarily. They're talking because they need to talk out and express what their experience is. And so when people are using the talking stick before they have a conversation, they have a safe space with these people, the other people they're in relationship with, to talk about what they're going through and be heard. And when they have a space to just have the time that they need to catch up with themselves, through the people listening and just there in the womb space, not to have a conversation, just to focus on that person and listen to what their experience is. Once there's that groundedness and connection with your experience, then we could start having a conversation, a back and forth conversation. But this is necessary to use it's necessary to use the talking stick so you can get connected to your experience, so you can then talk about it and represent it in a conversation. So there's a lot of things that you could do with the talking stick, but this is something, again, I would just want to leave you with that you don't need the talking stick to use it. So, you could say, to your partner or friend or whoever you're in a relationship with, I need the talking stick right now. And you could be granted that. Or you could also ask the other person that you're with, if they're talking to you, would you like the talking stick? So that's a message that you're telling them. You're just going to listen to them, not respond. It's not a conversation. It's just there for you to witness and share and experience and what the other person is going through as they catch up with their experience themselves. So anyway, this is powerful stuff. You could use it. And when you use it, you can see how powerful it is. So anyway, I hope this was useful to you, that you could start getting acquainted with and using the talking stick yourself in your relationships. And so until then, I'll see you next week. Yes, rely on the connections you make and the intimacy you create for sustenance. All right, take care. Bye.